Walter Brueggemann has done a wonderful job talking and writing about the narrative, or as he refers to it, the script of our lives. The stories that we tell ourselves to give ourselves purpose, sense of being and belonging. The script that we tell ourselves in order to take that step of getting up in the morning and getting on with the day. He also noted that we create this script or this narrative as communities. The things we tell ourselves. We are welcoming of children. We reach out to those on the margins. We stand with social justice and care for others. We believe in helping our neighbors. And our neighbors include an expansive vision of Jewish and Muslim and Christian and Buddhist and Hindu. Of those who are the nuns who don't go to church. The agnostics, the atheists, those who are the duns. They're spiritual, but they're not so sure there's a lot of hope for organized religion. We create this script for ourselves and for our communities, and we encounter the script that the world has to tell us. Oftentimes, that script incorporates now things either from Karl Marx or Adam Smith. The script becomes the liturgy that we see on our television set. As we wake up in the morning for our morning matins and are told how we need to get ready for the day and what facial cleanser we need to use and what shampoo will smell really good. And by lunchtime, we are turning into our midday liturgy. If we could just buy the right TV or that brand new car, driving down the street would be so wonderful. At night, we turn on the news, and we are told which political candidates are doing what that day, how they're shaping policy or the lives in our community. We get excited or frustrated or angry. And then on comes the advertisement for the big flat-screen TV that'll make your life better in the midst of all the crap that's going on in politics. By evening, we're ready to rest. And don't you need that Select Comfort mattress that's going to make your life so much better as we round out our evening liturgy? We are given that script day after day after day. What our world expects of us, how we can be better or be more, how we can feel good about ourselves when it's been a hard day. And then we come into this space, and all of a sudden, our world is turned upside down. You see that script that we've been hearing on the news and on TV, that's played over the radio waves, that we start to believe is turned on its head. And today we encounter this one that we proclaim as Christ, Messiah, Lord. And he's hanging from a cross. You see, the powers of Rome were not happy with this one who had come in and shaken things up. Who said that you could resist by turning the other cheek and making the soldier look a fool. That you could resist by running down the street carrying their backpack, and they would have to run after you because they're not supposed to go that far carrying those military backpacks. Jesus taught resistance, and it got him into trouble. And Jesus taught healing. He went out and he went into community with the lepers, curing skin disease, inviting them into wholeness, talking with them, sharing with them in community. Jesus went to the homes of tax collectors. He ate with prostitutes. He believed that no one was outside of God's reach. And the temple priests and leaders were not happy. All of the purity codes that he was breaking over and over and over again. Healing on the Sabbath. Caring for those who should not even be close to the temple. He breaks down the wall and he proclaims a new way of being, and people get angry. And finally, he goes into Jerusalem. Into Jerusalem to proclaim that God's reign is among the people. That God has come in a reign of peace and justice, of mercy and strength. And the people are excited to hear of this God who is incarnate among them, who will not let them go. And yet the tide turns. Because they know the liturgies of their day. You go to the marketplace. You gossip about who's out at the gate, the lepers and the prostitutes. You show up for your lunch at home, and you catch up on what you need to buy to make your life a little bit better. You go to the temple, and you are told again and again what rules you need to follow, who is to be in and outside of the community. And Rome comes in and tells them how much taxes to pay, to get in line, to follow exactly what needs to be done. So now this one who has come, God among us, is hanging there on a cross because he's bumping up against every liturgy that we are told by the world. He is rewriting the script that we grow accustomed to and oftentimes comfortable with. And in the face of rewriting the script, he ends up on the cross, hanging there in front of his Roman persecutors, in front of the Jewish people who would deride and scoff, in front of his friends, his disciples, who struggle and struggle mightily. And it is precisely there that we encounter a new script that continues to be written into the world and into our hearts. A script that will not let us go and is why we are here today. That death does not have the final word. That hate can be overcome by love. That fear can be abolished by hope and the strength of the people. It is a script that is written so deeply in who we are that we keep showing up. And we keep countering the will of the world that crashes over us in waves, day after day after day. And today we have one who is going to come to this font. His parents, grandparents, family, godparents have stood by him, nurturing him in faith, in questions, in wondering. And he is coming to say, I want to be part of this crazy, rabble-rousing, trouble-making narrative that doesn't fit in with the way of the world. I want to be part of this one who proclaims life in the face of death, who speaks a word of hope when times are hard. Elliot, as you come up here, you're taking a big promise, an oath, a covenant. You're speaking a word of hope into our lives. And that word is based on what God has already done for you. In Jesus' life, in his death, and in the new life that flows out of that, God's grace, God's saving and healing has already taken place among us. And we simply affirm that God has done this incredible thing in our lives. I think one thing that I have been quite moved by recently also with regard to this theology of the cross is hearing one of our feminist theologians, Elizabeth Johnson. And she has done an incredible job of thinking about this, moving us in how we understand atonement, how we understand God at one with us, saving us. And she compares the cross more to the image of a woman in labor. That God in Christ goes to the cross at the hands of the empire, of those in authority. And in the midst of that, in the midst of the pain and the labor, knows that there is a promise on the other side of that. That something new is being born among us. That new script, that new narrative is being written. Now, if you ask the majority of women who have experienced labor if it was a wonderful, pleasant, comfortable experience, my guess is that most of them are going to laugh in your face. And yet, if you were to ask most of those women if they felt joy, fulfillment, and incredible things in the midst of that moment, there would also be a nod and a smile. That God in Jesus on the cross is doing a new thing and is writing a new narrative for us. And today, we, like Eliot, get to stand up and say, we put our trust in this God, who will not leave us down in the dumps, who will not leave us on the margins, who will not leave us outside of love and grace, but rather proclaims for all of us and for the whole of the cosmos salvation, healing, and new life. On this Living Christ Sunday, we latch onto that narrative and we hold fast for tomorrow and all of the days of this week, the year, and the lifetime that is before us. We latch onto this God who will not let us go, but is born again and again in the witness of the cross and new life. Thanks be to God. Amen.